Hi traders, and welcome to my video on the moving average and RSI EA, which I have developed for the MT4 trading platform. You can download this EA free of charge using the link in the description below and by visiting my website, where you will also find many other free expert advisors that you can download and use. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the moving average and RSI EA, the various settings, the ways in which you can use it or implement it within your trading strategy, whether that's semi-automated or fully automated. So here we have the MT4 trading platform. Okay, I've loaded the moving average and RSI EA in the strategy tester. I've chosen the euro dollar symbol here. You can use this EA on any trading instrument, whether that's Forex, stocks, cryptos, commodities, indices, etc. For the time frame, I've chosen the 1 hour chart. You can use it on any chart time frame that you wish. I just prefer the 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily simply because they contain more price data, and therefore I find the signals tend to be more reliable. And that doesn't just apply to this EA, that applies to trading in general from my experience. So price action, support, resistance, trend lines, etc. So for the testing model, we can run open prices only to begin with. This is because the EA uses indicator open prices for the calculations. However, once you find some good settings, you might want to switch to every tick, where the strategy tester will use intra-bar prices, which can be important for stop loss, take profit, break even, trailing stop, spreads, etc. Okay, but we'll use open prices to start. It's a lot quicker. And for the date, we'll just use the past month and we'll run in visual mode to show you how it trades. Okay, I'm going to run through the EA settings now. So we have pop-up alerts, and pop-up alerts basically will give you a platform pop-up with a sound notification if you have sounds enabled. This can be useful if you want to track multiple charts at the same time but don't want to manually scan through them all looking for signals. You can have 10 charts, 20 charts, 50 charts, as many charts as you want open with the EA running, just sending you alerts when there's a signal. And so you'll get a pop-up, for example, that will say euro dollar 1 hour chart sell signal, or pound dollar 4 hour chart buy signal. Okay, and then you can just switch to the chart and decide what to do. Email and SMS alerts, basically the same alerts, just sent via email or SMS. This is handy if you're away from your computer, but you're waiting for a specific signal. Okay, you can just be alerted. If you're out and about, sat on the sofa, wherever you are, you can get an alert and then fire up your platform and decide what to do from there. Use trading, when that's set to true, it basically allows the expert advisor to place and manage trades on your behalf. You can actually combine the alerts with the trading. So for example, you could have use trading set to true and email alert set to true. So the EA does place a trade. It will also send you an email alert and you can check the trade and manage the position if you need to. Okay. Days filters is self-explanatory. Choose the days of the week that you'd like to trade or have signals, and the same with the hours filter. You have the hour start and hour end you can choose from. Okay, magic number is basically the order ID. So you can set the magic number or the order ID for the buy and sell trades. This is useful if you're perhaps running multiple expert advisors on the same trading platform. You don't want them to clash with each other. Just put a note out there as well that the free expert advisors that I've developed do come with instruction manuals where you can see detailed explanations of all settings as well. So for the broker settings, you've got the maximum spread and maximum slippage. Basically, the EA will not send any alerts or place any trades if the spread and slippage are above these values, which are in pips. This is to prevent trading in unfavorable market conditions. Money management, the open orders limit is the maximum number of trades that can be open at any one time. It's set to 1 by default, which basically means the EA can have a maximum of 1 open buy and or 1 open sell trade at any time. Lots, this is the position size that you'd like the EA to take. Okay, lots, it only applies if this use risk is set to false. Okay, if you have use risk set to true, the EA will use the risk percent and calculate the lots based on the risk percent that you've set. So if we have risk percent set to 2% and use risk set to true, the EA will calculate the position size so that a full loss will be the equivalent of 2% of the account balance. Stop loss and take profit, self-explanatory. Okay, you can adjust those accordingly. Close on opposite signal means if the EA finds an opposite signal, it will close and open trade. We have a break even and trailing stop option. So you can set the EA to move the stop loss to break even once this break even point is reached, which is again in pips. Okay, so at 100 pips profit, move the stop loss to break even. And trailing stop, you can trail the stop loss behind the current price by the trailing gap distance. And it will continue to move every time the trailing gap distance is reached. Close percent is basically if you want to close a percentage of the trade when the break even and trailing gap points are reached. And the minimum lot to close is when the EA will stop closing part of the position. So if you're trading one standard lot, for example, and you have the minimum lot close set to 0.5, say you have close percent 25%, minimum lot to close 0.5, and you're trading one standard lot, the EA will close 25% until there's only 0.5 left remaining, and it will just allow that to run, okay, without closing anymore. But it will still move the stop loss if you're using the trailing stop and break even. Okay, so that's the money management covered. And this is the nitty gritty, which is basically the trading strategy used. So there's two indicators implemented within the CA, and that's the moving average and RSI. You can set, if you set moving average to true, this will basically give you an alert if, or place trade if price is above the moving average of buy trade or below the moving average of sell trade, and you can choose the moving average value there. Okay, moving average crossover is we'll place a buy trade if the fast MA, we're using simple moving averages, by the way. So if the fast SMA moves above the slow SMA, place a buy trade. If the fast moves below the slow, place a sell trade. And what I'll do is I'll run both of those now to show you. So if we have the moving average one set to true, I won't use a stop loss and take profit just for the purpose of this video, and I'll keep close opposite signal set to true. This will just show you exactly what the EA does. So if we run it with the moving average selected, you can see here that the EA is just buying and selling when the price crosses above or below the moving average. Okay. Let me just double check. Posted, minimum lot close to. Okay. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't just have the EA buy and sell every time the moving average crosses. It's just not a good strategy. You're just going to get chopped in and out of the market. Instead, I'd look for the trend and just trade in the direction of the trend. So we have the lower highs here. Coming up to this trend, downtrend, we were here somewhere. You know, we could clearly see this level of support here somewhere. Been tested multiple times, holding up well, but then the market started making these lower highs here. Price did break below the moving average. Then most importantly, it broke this support level, which then became resistance, okay? So we could have been on the lookout for a breakout trade here. You did have a nice M chart formation there. This is a triple top as well, triple top pattern, because this resistance level has been tested at least 3 times. Had a breakout here. We did have an initial breakout earlier. This level here, M pattern, breakout to the downside, support becomes resistance, breakout here, support becomes resistance, and we would have looked to enter on that breakout there. We wouldn't necessarily have needed an EA to do that. We could have just used price action trading and caught this for, you know, almost 400 pips. As soon as we see the market making these lower highs, we could have looked to have exited. And on the way down, I would have moved my stop loss above the recent highs and just locked in the trade as much as possible. If we did trade this breakout here, my initial stop loss would have been above the high here. This is a limitation to EAs that use fixed stop loss levels is, you know, if you're putting your stop loss above the high, it might be 10 pips one time, it might be 20 pips another, it might be 30 another, okay? Whereas EA tends to use a fixed level all the time. So I tend to want to manually maintain control over that. And the same applies to the trailing stop. You want to put your trailing stop on the high, the recent high. That might not actually be the trailing stop value within the EA settings. So this is a 1 hour chart. I mean, checking the chart every few hours just to make sure, you know, the stop loss is where you want it to be is not the worst thing in the world, especially when you can catch big moves like this for hundreds of pips in the space of a month. And as I said, higher chart time frames. I'd much rather catch a big trend like this than try and scalp 300 pips on the 1 minute or 5 minute chart, you know, stressing yourself out all day trying to get a few pips here and there, keep paying brokers spreads and commissions when you can just time your entry good into a trend like this and capture big moves. And even if you're not right the first time, if you get taken out 20 pips here, 10 pips there, 20 pips again, you'd be down 50 pips. But then, you know, when you capture one of these big trends for hundreds of pips, you can make that back and some more. You know, say you took 3 losses for 50 pips and then you caught a 350 pipper on this, you'd be up 300 pips. Okay. And just, as I said, I find signals tend to be more reliable on the higher chart time frames. Have gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but I just wanted to point that out to you. And whilst we're at it, I'll also point out if you did miss the initial entry, you'll see throughout this downwards trend ample opportunities on the support breakouts to enter. Okay, lots and lots, plenty of arguably there, but go with the first one. You know, you don't want to get in too late. You don't want to end up selling at the low or buying at the high if it's an uptrend, but there's still ample opportunity to capture some of this move downwards here by just trading trend lines and support and resistance. Easy as that. Sensible money management. You're not going to enter here and put your stop loss up here somewhere. Well, I wouldn't. Using the recent highs for the stop loss, trailing it along the way and just milking the moves as much as possible. And in an uptrend, you basically just do the opposite. Okay, so uptrend, breakout of resistance, where we're looking, breakout of resistance, breakout of resistance, pull back to the MA, breakout of resistance, pull back to the MA, breakout of resistance. And again, you don't want to end up buying too high, but there was a bit of gas left in the tank up there, that breakout. Okay, do have lots of videos on the various strategies you can use. This video is the moving average and RSI EA, so we will get back to the program now. It would just be rude for me not to point out what I can see on the chart for you. So this moving average, what I was trying to get at was I'd be looking to sell. Once I know that we're in this downtrend, I'm just going to sell only. And I'm still not going to sell every time price crosses the MA, you know, or close when it crosses in the opposite direction. I want to try and capture you know, one big trade and ride it as much as possible. But it could be, you know, you might want to receive a notification when there's a crossover. Just say you missed this trade here. You might want an alert when price crosses above here because you know that, okay, that's a pullback. Price has crossed above the moving average. Let me open my chart, draw my support and look to enter in on this trend. Okay, so one way you can use it. So that was the moving average only. Now, if we do the moving average crossover, we'll use the 14 as a fast and 35 as the slow moving averages. We'll run that. And you can see this strategy is just basically selling when the fast, let me just change the colors, selling when the fast crosses the slow moving average down and buying when the fast crosses the slow above. Okay. See that? So it's just buying on the cross of the moving averages, which you can amend accordingly. Again, I would only be looking to take sell trades once we've established that we are in this downtrend, the lower highs, the breakout, the pullback, the breakout, the clear downtrend. If we have this set to trade short only, which you can trade short only. What I do is once I know we're in a trend direction, I just set the EA to short only or long only, depending on direction. And then you can see we only took the short trades. We were in a downtrend and therefore, you know, we improved our chances of being on the right side of the market. The trend is your friend and all that. So we eradicated those unnecessary losses. Crossing on opposite signal wasn't the worst thing to do here. However, as I said, I wouldn't want to exit prematurely. I mean, if we exited on that first cross there, we've still left all of this on the table. Okay, so in that instance, I just probably definitely wouldn't close an opposite signal. I wouldn't use a fixed take profit either because you can still get taken out prematurely. Show you what I mean. let's just say you were using a fixed take profit of 100. You weren't closing on opposite, but you were using a fixed take profit of 100 pips. Okay. And then let's see what happened. You still exited prematurely. Okay. Like here, from this trade to this trade, this trade to this trade, this, just re-entering. You don't need to do that. If you get one good trade, just ride that trend as much as possible off that one trade. I mean, you can time entry if you do get taken out prematurely. You can re-enter. However, the more you re-enter, the higher your chances are of being on the wrong, well, just getting your trade wrong. Okay. That's just, I prefer cut losing trades short, know when I'm wrong, and when I do get a good trade, just ride the trend as much as possible. Everyone's different. Do what works for you. So that's the crossover. I'm going to put this on long and short again to show you what the RSI does. So the relative strength index indicator, probably familiar with it already. If not, I'll just show you now how it works in terms of this EA. So the RSI extreme you can set to true. And that basically means the EA will buy when the, let me turn off the stop loss and take profit so you can see what it does. Okay, well, it had, what happened there? Okay, so there was a buy, right? Okay, so it buys when the RSI is extreme, as you can see there, extreme RSI, buy trade, and sold when the, buys when the RSI is extremely oversold, so below the 30 level, and sells when the RSI is extremely overbought above the 70 level. This picture here is a good example of why I do not use an RSI strategy like that. Okay, what I would have done instead, I mean, this is why you don't trade against a trend. You don't buy there, and you certainly wouldn't hold a long position down like that. But to use the RSI extreme in this instance, what I would do is I'll mark these lines again just so you know where we are, that same trend that we've been looking at on the other charts. Okay, downwards trend, remember the breakout here. Okay, pullback breakout. For the RSI, okay, you can set it to give you extreme alerts, and this could just be if you're looking for say a pullback into a trend. Okay, so you want to get into this sell trend and you want an extreme alert to look for a pullback. Okay, the thing is, this is why indicators can lag. The extreme alert is not to event when this run is over, the extreme sell alert, that is. But you can adjust the period of the RSI to say 7, and then you would have got the extreme alert up here, which is a reasonable pullback, and you could have drawn your support level and entered on the breakout there. Okay, so that would have been a way to use it, just as here, same thing. Extreme RSI, which is on the pullback, can draw your support, enter. Another example there and there. I will mark them. We're here now, why not? So you extreme RSI, you've got your pullback, you can draw your support and enter on there. I mean, you can even just take the extreme trade as it is if you want. Okay. And then when we get down to around here, we wouldn't really have sell trades activated. Well, I wouldn't. As soon as I see in the higher lows, I just, the EA would be just not sending me short or long signals until we've established, is the market going to break below here? I wouldn't want to be selling at the low after this move. You're just going to get caught in a bear trap, likely. Okay. So yeah, that's how you could use the extreme RSI. I definitely wouldn't blindly buy and sell the extreme RSI signals. And it could also be used perhaps to just prompt you with you might want to look at considering a position. Let's just say you did sell here and then the RSI went extreme here. You might be like, okay, well, I'll move my stop loss above the high there, or when it goes extreme here, I'll move it above this high. Okay, so it can alert you to do your money management as well in that sense. Okay, so that's the RSI extreme and RSI not extreme. I won't run a test on this, but I'll just quickly, as we got the RSI and the lines on the chart now, I'll just explain what it is. The RSI not extreme set basically means The EA will not place a sell trade if the it will only sell if the RSI is not extremely oversold, and it will only buy if the RSI is not extremely overbought. Why is this? This is so that you don't sell in an oversold market or buy in an overbought market, okay? All right. So for example, this is extremely oversold here, okay? And it wouldn't give you a sell signal because it's at the bottom of this move and you don't really want to sell at the low. You want to wait for your pullback and then perhaps a breakout. Same with here. Don't want to really sell at the low. I mean, this is why I'm not too keen on indicators myself. I prefer price action trading. You see this big bar here? This is the NFP, or non-farms payroll, first Friday of the month candle. Whilst it would have been good to use that momentum to jump in on this move around here somewhere to that pullback, it's also, look, the RSI does that, which is, in my opinion, not realistic, just simply because that's an NFP candle and the RSI can't account for that. So it can kind of skew the indicator a bit. Do you know what I mean? And not actually be reflective of what was happening in the market. I mean, to a certain extent it can, but for me, not ideal. I do find indicators can be lagging and repainting, which is why I would combine them. And of course, use candlestick patterns, which have been around forever. For example, 3 inside down pattern there. You have a bullish candle. Just zoom in a bit more. Bullish candle, followed by a bearish candle, which is at least 50% of the bullish candle's body, followed by another bearish candle, which breaks below the low of the bullish candle there. Okay. It's a bearish signal, as you can see, big breakout down there. And we had another 3 inside down formation there as well. Okay. Not to mention the lower highs, wedge formation. Yeah, price action told you everything you needed to know in this scenario and throughout the trend, to be fair. But this EA can be handy to give you signals. And you can combine them as well. You can do the, okay, so I want to use a moving average and an RSI extreme as well. So this basically means the RSI must be extremely overbought or oversold, and the price must be above or below the moving average in order for a trade to be taken. Okay. And we can see that it didn't actually occur there. That's because hold on a second. Okay, so there weren't actually any signals. What we need to do is to make the moving average, let's just put 200 moving average, an extreme RSI at 7 and run that. Okay, and I did add a stop loss and take profit. If we just zoom out and check that out, you can see if price is below the moving average and the RSI is extreme, we can sell. So there, you sell trade there, sell trade there, sell trade there, sell trade there. But again, if you look at the overall picture, you don't really want to be selling down here. Okay, got lucky there, but just. Okay, but it would have been decent for this move. Again, indicators not always on point. We missed ample opportunity to get in here because there wasn't an extreme RSI. But had you been using your support levels and your price action, your lower highs, wedge formation, you would have been double wedge formation there. Actually, you would have been fine. In fact, can probably squeeze in even another entry there, support come resistance. So yeah, you can trade it any way you like. You can also run optimizations. Optimizations, basically you select in the EA inputs what you want to optimize. Okay, and then the strategy tester can run all the various different combinations to see which work best. So let's just say we want to optimize, which indicator should we have to true and false? And then we can say, let's optimize the periods as well. So if we have 7, that's the period, that's what it will start at. So the 7 SMA, we'll step in 7 and we'll go to 35. So it'll do 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. So it starts at 7, ends at 35, going in steps of 7. For the fast, we'll do 7 to 35 there. And for the slow, probably something higher. So we can do, I don't know, let's go 50 up to 200. And RSI extreme, let's go 7, 7, 14, why not? Okay. And we'll do close on opposite signal. We'll set that to true or false, and take profit, we'll say 50 to 100. However, I would prefer to use, let's use the break even. We won't use a take profit. I think we're gonna go for a break even and a trailing stop. We won't close any of the position, but let's just see what value. We'll start at 25, go up in 25 steps to 100. What values would have worked well? We click the optimization, click run, and see if we can get a strategy. One thing about optimization is if you have this genetic algorithm checked, the strategy tester will do what it thinks will produce the best results, only those combinations. Whereas if you uncheck it, it will do every single combination, which can take a long time depending how many settings you're optimizing and the speed of your computer. And you click optimization results. You can sort them by profit or any other, by trades, profit factor, expected payoff, and drawdown. It'll just show you the results if you did all various different combinations of the settings that we just checked to optimize. Then we can choose one. When you double click it, it will load those settings for you into the inputs, which you can always save to load at a later date when you attach the EA to your chart so you test in future. If we just run those settings, you can see a nice graph. But be careful with optimization, because what we may have done, or probably have definitely done, is called over optimization or curve fitting, which is when you run a combination of various settings over a certain data set just to see which produces good results, which is like throwing you know what at a wall and hoping some of it sticks. Okay. For example, we've just done that for the previous month and it looked good. If we run those settings for the previous year, not so good. Okay, you can only see from when we started our optimization is when the graph really took off. Okay, so we could always optimize the previous year. Okay, find some reasonable settings. Not the best, but not the worst. Okay, but again, what we have done is we've over optimized for that time period. Okay, if you go back another year and use the same settings, what happens? That. Okay, so it's just basically curve fitting or do random combinations and hoping something will produce good results. And don't get me wrong, you could coincidentally land on a solid strategy, but more often than not, if you do that, you're just going to end up with a fluke and just get lucky with a bunch of random settings. I prefer logic. For me personally, like logic would be how I'd use this EA personally, I just want to get alerts. Sell alerts when price is below the moving average and the RSI is extreme on a pullback, and then I just draw my support level and look to trade the breakouts. Just as on an uptrend, I'd want alerts when price is above the moving average and the RSI is extremely oversold. Then I'd look to enter on a breakout of resistance. But in fairness, I don't think anything can beat just looking at the chart. I mean, you don't even need, if you just take off, if we just delete both indicators, I mean, do we really need indicators to tell us that is an uptrend? No. Do we need an indicator to tell us that that is resistance? Or if you want to be closer about it, we can go there. Nice breakout. Okay. Same here, there, or arguably there. W formation as well. Okay, breakout to the upside. And as I showed you earlier, breakout here and a breakout here. Don't want to buy too high, okay, but there's still a bit of gas. Breakout there, okay. And the same with the downtrend. We don't need any fancy indicators. Prices reach resistance, making his lower highs. Nice downwards trend here, and we can just draw support and trade breakouts and capture big trends like these. I mean, a lot of people don't see this, and do you know what that is? I think because they're on the 1 minute, 5 minute chart trying to scalp and just wasting time, and getting frustrated. If you just use a longer term chart time frame, these moves become a bit more obvious. And as long as you've got sensible money management, I mean, even if you do know how to catch these moves, but you've got bad money management, it still won't be a good strategy. Like, let's just say you've got 100 pip stop loss and a 50 pip take profit. I mean, okay, you get in on this breakout here. Okay, you got 50 pips. I take 50 pips here, and leave all that on the table, okay? Take a stop loss later on for 100 pips, you're down 50 pips when you had all that opportunity there. Yeah? If you get out early at 50 pips and try to re-enter, you might be re-entering too late, okay? But you know, you trade how you want. You can use this EA to just help you. Just basic, if you just want alerts for like moving average crossovers or extreme RSI, you can configure it as you wish. Okay, it's all there for you. You just need to change the settings. So hopefully make life a lot easier for you. And if you want to take things a step further, my other free Forex robot for MT4 has nearly all of the indicators of the MT4 platform built in. So it has the RSI, the moving average, but also the MACD, CCI, ADX, Bollinger Bands, envelopes, etc. Along with candlestick patterns, you can download that for free and just create your own unique trading strategy, wherever you want it to trade for you automatically, or to send you signals so you can trade semi-automated. Okay, link is in the description as well. Okay, well, I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you found something useful in this video. If you can like and subscribe, that would be great. And hopefully I'll catch you on the next one.